You want me to put that on my todger?
This one's wife. She's alienating her fans. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Another instance of the behaviour of this one's wife affording me an opportunity to explain to you another aspect of the narcissistic dynamic, which is the key to understanding why this one's wife behaves as she does. Jane Hertz, writing for the Daily Mail, explains, "This one's wife is taking a risk by choosing to introduce a new rosé wine into her selection of as-ever lifestyle products, as it could alienate customers, according to a media expert." Now, we know that most of the world doesn't give two hoots about this one's wife, that there is a section of the population that positively dislikes her, some even perhaps going so far as to hating her. And she also has her fans and supporters. These are mainly made up of people that live vicariously through her, or have nailed their colours to the mast and feel that they need to continue to defend her, even though the evidence demonstrates that she's not worth defending. This one's wife is going to launch her brand's debut Napa Valley Rosé. And, as has been mentioned elsewhere, it's made by Fairwinds Estate, a California winery that creates bespoke wines for celebrities, and they've added this one's wife to their list of clients. Apparently, this one's wife picked Fairwinds, which is 75 miles north of San Francisco and a 6-hour drive from her home in Montechicho, to show her support after the winery was almost totally destroyed in a devastating 2020 wildfire, which caused $15 million worth of damage. The wine, which is the first alcoholic product to be sold under the brand, will join her current Rolodex of raspberry and apricot spreads, cooking mixes, flour sprinkles and herbal teas, all of which that have received a less than perfect review. She's noted that the wine is launching just in time for summer entertaining, and according to expert Caitlin Jardine, a social media manager at Ellis Digital, it was a deliberate move on this one's wife's part. This one's wife's decision to launch her very own rosé as part of her As Ever collection is a deliberate move towards the evolution of her brand, establishing herself and her brand within the luxury and lifestyle product industry, Jardine explained. The launch of her As Ever rosé wine suggests that this one's wife is looking to create a more aspirational, adult lifestyle offering, one that aligns with leisurely sophistication and the social status that wine often represents, she continued. Now, pausing there, to my mind, the whole As Ever brand is about 15 to 20 years too late. She did the whole aspirational thing with the TIG, and she's trying to revisit it, but all that she is doing, as I've explained in a separate video, is having other people manufacture the products, which she then marks up and sells more expensively. Now, if you are thrilled by the fact that your raspberry spread is associated with this one's wife, then you might be willing to pay for that markup. But most people, particularly in these straitened times, are more interested in paying money for something that is quality, rather than just because it's associated with a mediocre former actress and purported yacht girl. They will pay more for actual quality in terms of taste, superiority of the product, not just because it's got some stupid calligraphy associated with it that has been apparently created by this one's wife. Once again, her inability to gauge the moment shines through, showing her lack of business acumen. But it's also the case that the social media manager explained that this one's wife has cemented her brand as one that celebrates meaningful, everyday moments, a theme that's in line with her home entertainment show on Netflix with Love, Meghan. But releasing a rosé into the As Ever ether could well be a risk when it comes to the customer base. Jardine noted that this one's wife will be entering a highly competitive and established market that is most likely to appeal to a more expansive audience, particularly those who see wine as more than just something to drink, but an accessory to their lifestyle. However, having already associated herself with all things wellness, this could alienate some of her fan base who feel as though she's going against her core wellness-centered brand image, different to her existing line of products with the potential to contradict her values around mindful living. And this once again demonstrates the problem in respect of this one's wife. She doesn't think things through. Why? Because, as I've explained to you, her narcissism is focused on the moment, the gaining of fuel now, the obtaining of a residual benefit now, and most particularly, the assertion and maintenance of control and nullification of threats of control now. What this means is that at midday, she'll decide that she's a wellness guru. By 1 p.m., she's into aspirational lifestyle. By 2 p.m., she wants to service day drinkers. And the problem is that when she makes those decisions, which are based on the needs of the prime aims in that particular moment, she's inconsistent. Like all narcissists, she does not have object constancy. And the problem is that if she's cultivated a brand which is about wellness, all of a sudden, many of her core customers or potential customers will think, I'm not sure what this brand stands for. It was suggesting that it was in respect of wellness, and now she's selling alcohol, which is a poison and ultimately not something that I want to purchase. What is this brand about? Once again, the collateral consequences of the flip-flop nature of this one's wife shine through. Her inability to stay the course is solely a consequence of her narcissism, because all it cares about is the obtaining of the prime aims in each particular moment, and bugger the consequences. This means that she will make decisions whereby she will portray herself as a particular thing at one point and then shift to something else which contradicts the earlier image. It also explains, as I have detailed previously, why she flits from one theme to another without actually seeing it through. This expert suggests it might alienate her fans or divide at least a section of them. Whether that remains to be the case, well, we shall see. But the reason that that risk is presented in the first place is wholly as a consequence of her narcissism, whereby she doesn't think about the consequences of her actions, she's just guided to do things in the moment. For example, when she posted that ridiculous Billie Eilish video, she mentioned in the moment, a lunchbox, what's that, or words to that effect. She wanted to do that in order to make her seem more endearing to people. The collateral consequence of that was people were, what, you don't know what a lunchbox is? That's preposterous. And thereafter, she contradicted herself by talking about what she makes for the children's lunchboxes. It's a small example, but it's wholly demonstrative of the way that because her narcissism operates in the moment, she gets caught out in these lies and creates collateral consequences that will come back to bite her on the backside, which may well be the case in relation to the alienation of part of her customer base by virtue of moving to sell or grift expensive alcohol, which could be bought far cheaper elsewhere. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.